Friend, let me ask you something simple. When your day pulls you in 5 directions, who is actually in charge inside you? Today, we'll make justice small enough to carry. Justice as everything doing its own work. By the end, you'll have a tiny way to bring your inner city into order. Clear, calm, usable in real moments, starting now. Previously, we built a city to discover justice. Let's locate its 4 steady notes, and then echo them within you. In that city, wisdom belongs to the rulers, the ones who see the whole and steer. Courage belongs to the auxiliaries, the trained guardians who hold the right line about danger. Temperance is the city's agreement about who should rule. And justice? Each part minding its own work. Here's the question for today. If a city is just when the right part rules, what makes a person just? Put differently, which part should rule in you? First, let's finish the map of the city so the mirror for the soul is clear. There are 3 kinds of work there. The rulers carry the knowledge of the whole, like a pilot who reads weather and stars, not just ropes. That's where the city's wisdom lives. The guardians hold firm under pain, pleasure, and fear. Their courage is not bravado, but the memory of what truly deserves fear and what does not. Then the many, who trade and build and grow food, join with the others in a shared agreement about who should lead. That agreement is temperance, a harmony not of voices but of deference. When these are in place, justice appears. No poaching of roles, no meddling, each part doing its proper work so the whole can stand. Now, bring this close. Imagine you at work, tempted to say yes to a side project that flatters you while your responsibilities grow thin. One voice says, "Take it, they'll admire you." Another says, "Stay with the plan, the team depends on you." A quieter one asks, "What serves the whole?" Notice how this scene contains a city, ambition, duty, and counsel. Quick reflection. In that sort of moment, which voice wins, admiration, duty, or the one seeing the whole? Good, but something sharper is hiding here. Inside you, the voices don't just sing different tunes. They pull against one another at the same time. You reach for the dessert and, in the same breath, you hold back. The same thing can't both move and stay still in the same respect. So, there must be more than one principle at work within us. Let's name them with care, one by one. Start with reason. When I say reason, I mean the part of you that wants to know what is true and what benefits the whole of your life. It asks for evidence, weighs consequences, and can wait. Next is appetite, the part that wants food, drink, comfort, money, praise, bodily satisfactions and their near cousins. It is not evil, it simply wants what it wants, now if possible. Between them stands spirit. Think of it as your inner lion, the heat that flashes when you're insulted, the pride that refuses to cheat, the drive that loves victory. Spirit can charge at appetite and defend reason, or it can defect and become appetite's enforcer. Notice 3 scenes. First, late at night, appetite wants one more episode. Reason proposes bed. Spirit takes sides. If spirit honors the long view, you close the app without drama. If it sides with appetite, you click and justify. Second, a colleague takes credit. Appetite whispers, "Stay safe, keep the paycheck." Reason says, "Address it directly, but with measure." Spirit flares, "Good," but if it runs untrained, you rage and make an enemy. If allied with reason, you speak firmly and keep the relationship. Third, you promised your child a walk, and email pings. Appetite for status urges reply. Reason recalls your word. Spirit can either protect that promise or rationalize its betrayal. What goes wrong? Injustice inside is when parts invade one another's work. Appetite seizing the throne, spirit usurping counsel, reason reduced to a clever servant making excuses. That civil war feels like disease, confusion, oscillation, and regret. Courage then becomes unreliable, because spirit forgets what is actually fearsome and what is not. And temperance vanishes, because there is no agreement about who should rule. So boundaries matter, but boundaries are not enough. Order requires a ruler. The soul is healthy when reason, which cares for the whole, governs. Spirit stands as its ally. Appetite receives its share and keeps its place. That shape, reason ruling, spirit assisting, appetite obeying, is justice within. You might ask, fine, how do I seat reason on the throne when appetite is loud and spirit is hot? Not by violence, by tuning. Just as the city relied on education to die the guardians fast, the soul learns to hold its shape. Let's make that concrete, with a quick personal mapping right now, softly, without judgment or show. Here is the move. Take one recent decision you're still chewing on. Name the 3 players. First, what did appetite want? Pleasure, comfort, gain, or applause? Second, what did reason, caring for the whole of your life, advise? Third, where did spirit lean? Toward quick conquest or toward protecting what reason saw? Now seat them. Say aloud, even under your breath, reason presides, spirit protects, appetite serves. Then rewrite the choice in that order. If appetite still gets something, it's because reason grants a measured share. If spirit gets to fight, it fights for a true end, not for vananimity. Notice the shift. Courage becomes the preservation of a right judgment about danger, not a mood. Temperance becomes agreement among your parts about who leads, not a grim suppression. And justice appears as an inner arrangement you can feel, each part occupied with its own work, with reason and spirit allied. Try it with the work example. Appetite wants the flattering project. Reason measures costs to the whole. Spirit, summoned as sentinel, says firmly, we keep our word to the team. The decision clarifies, and the appetite is fed later, within bounds. That is justice as harmony lived, and your day feels lighter. Notice how the same pattern binds city and soul. First, wisdom, where the seeing part leads. Courage, where spirit keeps the true line. Temperance, as shared agreement. And justice, as each doing its own work. Second, disorder outside mirrors disorder inside. Set the right ruler within. Third, spirit is your hinge. Train it to stand with reason. Your 24-hour practice. Choose one choice you will likely face today, food, phone, or speech. Before it arrives, write the one-line oath. Reason presides, spirit protects, appetite serves. When it arrives, recite it once, softly if you like, and act in that order. Afterward, grant appetite a measured share on purpose. Then note what changed in mood and clarity. Write one sentence. Today you set a ruler within. Next, we face 3 waves, equal training, shared families, and the demand that philosophers govern. Why such bold claims? Because unity hurts pride. Join me, and let's test the surf.